stress. I want you try surviving on the public face, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fair with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Baratans too. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1500 US, and they're telling me super salary. I done fed up on the unemployment racism and the lie they say one Guyana. Cause when you look with the oil money going, circulate with one set of banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Sujurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relation.
Em.
So it's in the rice price.
The rice price, something to do with I go talk to him and somebody. Then I talk to the white and come and tell me nothing. And you come out people every week here basically.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Jacinti Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cup, and what they are doing today I can't take it, so I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
Good night. Welcome to, I was going to say welcome to MAGA, but welcome to Straight Up. My name is Mark Benchop. It's Friday. And we oftentimes say, thank God it's Friday, right? And, you know, back in the old days, there was a song called, it's probably still existing, Just Got Paid Friday Night on the rolling down the floor, right? Okay, so it's Friday night, lots and lots of things happening. Just got paid. All right, good. You got it. Good night to all of you, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever you may be going through, it's okay. It's part of life. Some of us may have been in the dungeons, the belly of the beast, and we have survived. You know, there's another song that goes something like, I think Brennan Thompson and the DJs, like DJ Shrimpy and these guys would know it. Right, Brenda? Where is it? Braithwaite and so forth. And then there is Jamal Aziz and Rhonda Lane would know this. I will survive. I will survive. You guys know him. Yeah. Good night to all of you. But MAGA turns against Musk. In Guyana and in the Caribbean, there's a MAGA in the United States of America And there's a different meaning for MAGA in Guyana or the Caribbean. And you guys know what I'm referencing. MAGA, sorry for MAGA dog. MAGA dog turn wrong muskew. MAGA dog turn wrong muskew. So there's this big fighting between these two guys. A legitimate, well, I would say a legitimate billionaire, because you don't know him to be smuggling anything. He ain't smuggle gold, he ain't smuggle this. He's not into, drugs and all. Not that we are aware of. Otherwise, Reuters would have picked that up. And so this is what you'd want to say, a legitimate billionaire, right? Thus far, a legitimate billionaire, right? Okay, so you guys got the drift, okay? Thank you. You know me, and always it's some sort of shades, Some people say, Mark loves to throw shades. Sorry about that. Good. So these guys, I don't know. I'm not betting any money. I don't know. Get up on one side of the bed, and then it's a bacchanal, and then I don't know. They're going to call a truce by Sunday, though. They will call a truce by Sunday. They're going to try to kiss and make up, and then they're going to go at it again. It's just like Francine Cruz allegedly thieving people's bingo money, promised to stop, and then back to stealing bingo money again. Good night to all of you. Noticed Francine Cruz has joined you guys there. So MAGA turns on Musk. And this is the question they're asking Musk now, because Musk has said that Trump didn't want to open up the files for Epstein because Trump knows why. His name is inside, according to Musk. And now MAGA now turns back, and MAGA says, hey, wait a minute. If Elon Musk, knew that Trump was on the Epstein client list, why did you let him on board with your son? In other words, why did you allow your son to go on board with Trump? So it's a legitimate question. It's a good question. It's a fair question. Right, Wendy Andrews and Darkus and the whole crew? It's a fair question. I notice Lachman Aziz is saying, enough is enough. Of course, enough is enough. Enough is always. Enough is enough indeed. But then the opposition got to do more. They got to go out. They got to do more, guys. Now, when you tell the opposition them they got to do more, some people who don't really understand politics, they think you're attacking. They think you just got to drop whatever it is, especially talk show hosts, at least for me. They think you just got to drop and get in line. It doesn't work in 2025. And not every criticism means that people are undermining people. People got to be focused in these elections. They got to sell it is politics. It's a tough sport. Simple as that. It's not everybody soften out and fall in line and follow the leader. It is tough. And in order to win, you've got to be tough. You think Trump, the first time around, Trump was tough against those opponents. He was tough. And in order to win an elections, you gotta stop crying like little pussycats. Oh, this body don't like this body, and this body don't. You know how many people don't like me? Then again, there are lots that love me, right? Sorry, I'm sounding like Trump there for a moment. And you think it's politics. And when you're in the eyes of the public, all manner of things are going to be said. Just move on. Be tough. Now is not a time to cry, this body undermining this and this undermining. Because when you do these sort of things, you're undermining yourself and you're undermining your candidate. All I'm saying to you guys in the opposition, be tough, move forward, sell your candidate, because this is an elections to be won, The opposition can win the elections if they stay focused and do what is necessary. Talk show hosts and media operatives have a job to do. The politicians and their supporters have a job to do as well. And the advisors and those who are within the circles of those political figures, they have their job to do. That's what they have to do. Talk show hosts don't have to do their political job. At least for me, I can speak for myself. I do what I do because I love doing it. And I want to see the back of the corrupt PPP regime. And I want to see them replaced by individuals who are not corrupt, mind you. You know what I mean? You guys know what I mean. As we get closer down the elections, I'll be talking a lot more about that. And I'll at some point in time, because I don't sit on the fence. I know what happens when you sit on the fence. I know what happened when you sit on the fence. Right? Those of you from quarantine or somewhere in the country, any one of you ever sit on the fence? Y'all sit on the fence, you know what's happening, right? Crux. Sorry about that. When I say Miss Booker, jump when I say crux, right? You don't know it's not time to sit on no fence. It's not time to be undecided. You got to do what you got to do. The PPP has got to go. But at the same time, I don't want you guys to be fooled by Pacus. Do not be fooled. Jamal Aziz, all of you, Sonia Sargent, Owen Bacchus, Miss Booker, Donna Fesso, Julius Junior Lynch, and all of you. I didn't call your names, right? Don't be touchy. Turn to your neighbors and say, we know what we got to do, right? You got to vote proper people in office. Proper, right, Sri Nandalal? And where's Jai Sri? Where's our other friend Jai Sri Khan? Where is Jai Sri Khan? Right? Good night to you, my brother. I heard Jai Sri Khan is passing the word out there, and a few people called me through the Pen Shop Immigration Consultancy, and they mentioned Jai Trishan Khan. Good job, man. The brother is right there in the audience. Thank you. So, hey, guess what I want to do now tonight? Let's go to a video. And this is why we've got to have change. We've got to have that change, not an exchange. We need patriotic individuals. There are folks in the opposition that are patriotic. I do know that there are folks who mean well. They want the best for the country. They can serve in whatever capacity and so forth and so on in getting that done. But you got to be careful. Not every opposition or every political party or individual jump up and say that they are running for president or they farm a party or whatever means that they're on your side. Be careful. Can't say me never did I warn you. Now let's go to the other set of sanctioned people. Or should we do that now? The other set of sanctioned people. Sanctioned people. They've been sanctioned. But here's a question I want to ask you. Here's a question. Now, this is Ramson. Ramson Jr. Charles Ramson Jr. is the Minister of Sports or Youth, Sports and Culture. That is what he is, right? And he loves to pomposette himself. I'm not sure that on his next visit to the United States of America, whether U.S. law enforcement agents will pull him in for fitness and ask about his relationship/association with this guy who has been sanctioned for drugs, Mark Cromwell, also known as Demon. How many of you are of the view, and I'm just throwing this question out there, as to whether this guy, Charles Ramson Jr., could possibly be pulled in for fitness to ask about his relationship with this guy who has been sanctioned, Demon, who has been sanctioned for drugs, drug trafficking. And remember, Guyana is small, yes, but everybody knows everything. Everybody knows everything. And this guy, Demon, apparently shot somebody, allegedly shot somebody maybe 3 times a couple days ago. And what's going on in Guyana? That's the question. What is going on in Guyana? And these are the people that are close to those who are in power. Jagdeo, Irfan, this guy, Charles Ramson Jr., and so forth and so on. And these are questions that have to be answered. And if these guys who are described as drug traffickers, if they are holder of gun licenses, then these gun licenses will have to be revoked with immediate effect. And the question is, have they done that? I don't know. Have they done that as yet? These are good. These are questions that should be answered. The other question is, it doesn't take long for them to get information about Hemnat. People got information about Hemnat the night the shipment of that drugs was dropped off. And when those men, we were told that 4 men or whatever ran away into the bushes. Yeah, right. But thankfully, 1 or 2 of those 4 men who, quote unquote, ran away were important for this case. And according to information, they were able to identify whatever transaction or transactions that were made between Hemnat Saw, who was the commander in Region 1 at that time. And so when these folks, when Uncle Sam moves against you, in this case, they're sanctioned for drug trafficking, it simply means that they have the information. And these information, they don't just accumulate these information by just maybe 1 visit to Barbados, and in about 3 or 4 weeks or 2 months after, then you hear sanction. No, it takes some time. Thorough investigation, sometimes a year, sometimes 2 years, sometimes 3 years, and so forth. Not 3 weeks, not 2 months or so. But whatever, and whoever visited Barbados probably may have said something as well. Who knows? A visit to Barbados is not to sit down and drink coffee and walk the beach and show off that you can travel to Barbados. They can travel, maybe they can travel again now. Who knows? Let's see. You have seen more than by gun. However, the gun licenses for these guys, the corrupt PPP regime would have to address. They have to also, the PPP would have to say whether these guys are recipients of contracts, road contracts, or whatever contracts. And if they are recipients of contracts, then they have to be rescinded immediately. Those contracts have to be taken away with immediate effect, along with their gun licenses. And if there's any evidence that the government continues, Jagdev and Irfan and Ramson and these guys, including the Commissioner of Police and other senior police officers, if they continue to be part and parcel of these individuals, then they themselves will be sanctioned. Government officials, they love to jump up and call on sanctions and opposition people and all these things. We see where the sanctions going now. And according to information, maybe more sanctions coming. Maybe, who knows? Sorry, maybe more sanctions coming. I wonder what the Commissioner of Police is saying now. All of these guys associate with each other. They know each other. And so I'm going to sit back until Monday and listen out. What's going to be the next move with these guys? All of their accounts should be closed by now. The governor of the Bank of Guyana should have issued a memo within hours after this report from the agency that banned them. Is it OFAC? Sorry. OFAC. I ain't saying nothing else there because y'all gonna say Ben Trap cussing now. Now, who is Ansi K talking about blow this and Ansi? Oh man. You know how we just carry this audience that we have. I know some of them gonna let loose, but we're waiting until closer to elections time. But we're like Jehovah's Witnesses, man. We don't use those words like blow J and all. Oh man, don't do that to us. All right, good. So their bank accounts should have been frozen by now, which means that there are locks and keys on the bank accounts of all these individuals, which means they cannot touch their monies, their assets, and all of these different things. And these are things that we should be hearing. Let's wait. Let's see. Let's wait. That is all. What else is on your mind, guys? It's Friday. It's Friday. Some of you may probably look out for some more sanctions, maybe some senior police officers who should have been sanctioned, but they weren't sanctioned. Maybe some very, very senior CONU officers should have been sanctioned, and maybe some government officials too. And this is why we go back to the question of Charles Ramson. Charles Ramson loves to run up his mouth. And the question is, and they love to say to people, come to Guyana in that threatening manner, right? As though people are supposed to shake and be afraid of them, right? And so tonight I say, Mr. Charles Ramson, if you are going to be in the U.S. anytime soon, let's meet up for coffee because I have some questions for you. Just feel free to come. And if you're gonna be coming to the U.S., I'm not sure if you're afraid to come or whatever. I don't know. But ask James Bond if he wants to come along. That's another story. Maybe James himself is afraid to travel to the U.S. I don't know why. I'm just assuming that maybe he's afraid to travel to the U.S. Or is he afraid to travel outside of Guyana? I'm just asking a question, right? That's all I'm asking. Anyways, I'm asking a lot of questions. Look, you see what the caption is. Opposition must wake up. We want the opposition to wake up. And when people say opposition wake up, it doesn't mean that they're against anybody. They're just saying wake up. This is an elections. They can win this elections. They need a proper team. They need PR team. They don't need cry and emotional outburst on Facebook and who undermining this and who this and who. It doesn't. Now is not the time for that. Now I want to take you guys to a video, and this is how the police they operate in Guyana. And we have to get the names of these officers. Take a listen as to what transpired early, I believe, somewhere in Lenora, Parika area, maybe. Let's go. Police operation? Senior police officers are drug dealers. They have been sanctioned. Some of them got their visas revoked as well. Maybe Gordon Mosley and those guys can ask the Commissioner of Police for a list of senior police officers who have recently got their visas, their U.S. visas revoked. This is how they behave. You guys are seeing exactly what's happening in the country, right? But according to reports, these are the officers who allegedly did that. These are, according to a source, these are the officers, and these are serious human rights violations. And as lawmen, as police officers, you have absolutely no right to treat citizens in this manner. And when you ill-treat citizens like this, there will be penalties. There will be penalties. And if these guys travel to the United States of America, of course, if they're holder of U.S. visas, then there will be penalties. You do not treat citizens like this. You may be able to treat citizens like this and get away with it in Guyana. But certainly, I know there are some folks who may say, well, in the U.S. there are some police. Oh, fair enough. Around the world, yes. But when you're caught, then there ought to be consequences. And this is unacceptable. So let's take another video. So a group of young men, and young people already, they're going to go out, we all once were young, some of us still young. Right? Yeah. So basically that's what it is. It's you guys, we will show that video again. Lemon, let's go to another video.
I can't be fucking dog. Watch. Just because we stand up out there.
So the question is, why would police officers, why would they just pull up on a van and beat these young men? For what reason? That's what young people are for, to go out there and lime and have clean fun. They're enjoying their lives. That's what young people are doing. They don't appear to be thieves. Now, unless these cops are acting on behalf of some unscrupulous businessman in that area, are they looking for chairs? Are they looking for individuals who probably went away with some old beat-up phone and all these things from that hotel? Is that what they're doing? I don't know, because this is totally uncalled for. Totally uncalled for.
I can't know we fucking dog. Watch. Just because we stand up out there. Just because we stand up out there.
I don't know. Something is wrong with that country. And that is why there is elections. And elections coming around on the 1st of September. If you guys are not prepared to vote, do not complain. If you keep complaining and who like who and who like who and who this and who undermining who and those dotish emotional chit-chats, it's not going to win you elections. Everybody can't like a candidate of yours. Everybody can't dung tool and follow the leader line. People are entitled to their views. But try to get people on your side. Don't chase people away from you. Because if you chase people away from you, you will get exactly what you're getting. People are just going to do what they feel they need to do that is right. And so, anyway, that's another shade. Pay attention. This is wrong. The Commissioner of Police, whoever he is, whether it's Jack Dare or Irfan Ali, something needs to be done with these policemen. So I don't know, those young men, I'm told, and this is from a police source, I'm told that those young men were merely liming. That's all they were doing. They were liming, and the police pulled up, and because maybe they're liming, they decided to beat these guys up, grab their chains as though they're thieves, as though these cops, they're behaving like they're thieves, grab the guy's chain and all manner of things, and then probably place them in the lockups. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to say that the young men resisted arrest, the young men did all manner of things. You think these policemen, you think they will go and treat these guys like that? You think they will manhandle these guys like that? Do you think they will go into Buxton and grab Demon like that? Well, only RoboCop grabbed him and choked him, right? But even if something were to happen like that, Ramson going to step in, because they all do step in and they save their friends and they get their friends out of jail, and they get their friends off of murder charges and murder allegations and these things. And that's what Guyana, that's what's happening in Guyana now. And that is why you guys who are there in Guyana preparing to vote, you've got to vote to save Guyana. That is what it's about. Vote to save Guyana. You're not voting to save an individual, because if you vote to save an individual, Guyana will not move forward. If you vote to save just an individual, Guyana will not grow. It will not move forward. And so you've got to think, you've got to put the emotions aside, and you've got to vote to save Guyana, not an individual. If you vote to save an individual, it is like voting for continued corruption and all sort of things. You think it's going to be easy if you get somebody like Tom Anderson said, who's smuggling gold, smuggling drugs. That's according to the U.S. Law enforcement agencies and allegations, right? And it's just not, Guyana is not going to go anywhere. And so I say to individuals, and especially young people, You want a bright future. You don't want a bright future. A Lamborghini is not a bright future to you. Why? What is it? As long as you work hard, you get the money, you'll able to do the right thing. You'll drive more than a Lamborghini. But what's the sense you have a Lamborghini and you don't have class, you don't have dignity, you don't have decency? What's the purpose of that? Those things just glitter and they last for maybe a short while. But as long as you have your dignity and you have decency in you, it goes a long, long way. All right. What else is happening in your neck of the woods? We're still the family members. They're still awaiting justice. Not this kind of justice here for now, because the U.S. Embassy issued a statement. And these sort of sanctions, mind you, like I've said earlier, they're not sanctions that come about 2-3 weeks or 2 months or so. The law enforcement agents or agencies in the United States of America, when they investigate you and you are sanctioned, it takes a while. When you are sanctioned, it takes a while before you get on the list. And in order for you to get on the list, it has to go through several law enforcement agencies. That is what it's about. Several law enforcement agencies. And once it gets to that, it has to be signed off by other agencies, and they have to be satisfied. And that is what happens when folks get sanctioned. And it reaches all the way to the Oval Office, sign off. And so this is what they're saying at President of the United States is confronting international drug trafficking head on. But this is where I pause for a moment. In order to confront drug trafficking head on, it simply means, and this is where I say kudos to the Trump administration for this here, for this. But in order to confront drug trafficking head on, you've got to confront the PPP, because the PPP is the biggest drug enterprise there is. Every single time the PPP is in office, what do you think happened? Well, we saw that Guyana was able to breathe again, for the most part, under the coalition. From 2015 to 2020, Guyana was able to breathe again. 99% of the things that are happening now, we didn't see it, or we didn't see them for the most part under the coalition government. That is why, folks, it is important that you vote these corrupt vagabonds out of office. Now, let me continue with what the U.S. Embassy issued earlier today. And of course, POTUS, you guys already know that means President of the United States, is confronting international drug trafficking head on. Today, and the U.S. Treasury, supported by State Department and other agencies, and this is what I alluded to earlier, that other agencies, about 6, 7, 8 agencies or even more, get together. They review the evidence and all. This is not somebody pick up the phone and call. No, it doesn't work like that. And so this is what the U.S. Embassy is saying here, that today the U.S. Treasury, supported by the U.S. State Department and other agencies, sanctioned individuals operating cocaine trafficking networks in Guyana. And this is what they concluded. We are cutting off their profits and securing our borders. State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce. State Department, and this is why now the Irfan Ali has made a statement that they're working along with U.S. and they're doing this and they're doing that. Well, if they're doing this and they're doing that, well, we need to see action. Action against these individuals. Their bank accounts have to be frozen. Their assets have to be taken away or investigated. Now, the other thing is contracts. Some of them have contracts to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. And this is what Irfan Ali, this is what Robeson Ben, and this is what this guy, Egil, who is the minister, and the other junior minister under Egil's ministry, they have to address. And the question is, how many of these sanctioned guys? Is it Demon? Does he have contract with the government of Guyana? Paul Darby Jr., does he have contract with the government of Guyana? And if so, they need to list the amount of contracts and the monies that they have made, taxpayers' monies, over the past almost 5 years. Whether Randolph Duncan has contracts with the government. And now Hemnat is the policeman there. Hemnat, Jagdeo, what Jagdeo does, he throws these guys under the bus. He doesn't know them. Notice at yesterday's press conference when the question was asked about the sanction, what sanction? Let me see. And the minute he saw all those individuals, he knew that they're his guys. And therefore, he said he doesn't want to talk about it now. He didn't mention a word. But what the press should ask him is whether there is an association between himself and Mark Cromwell, known as Demon, and whether he has spoken to Demon on numerous occasions via his telephone. And the same with Paul Darby Jr., and the same with Randolph Duncan and so forth, whether he has spoken to these guys directly on numerous occasions via his cellular phone. And Ramson now has to ask this question. The amount of contracts given to Demon and others like Demon, taxpayers' money, Ramson needs to come clean. I repeat, Ramson needs to come clean. Maybe he missed the sanction list. I don't know. Maybe. But, you know, a nice cup of coffee in a coffee shop, Ramson, maybe somewhere in Brooklyn, a nice cup of coffee whenever you come to the U.S. You know, I can afford a cup of coffee, yeah. We'll sit and have a cup of coffee and you can talk about the contracts that you gave these guys and whether there are other activities that you guys may have done together. Who knows? All right. What else is happening in your neck of the woods? Let me check some of your comments out. How are you guys? How are you guys doing for elections, especially those who are in Guyana right now? How is the elections coming on? Are you guys prepared for the elections? Are you guys going to be mobilized and go out there in your numbers to vote the corrupt PPP out of office? Good night, Melanie Allison Watson, also known as Melanie. Wayne Caesar, good night to you. What Wayne Caesar is saying, he's in the audience tonight. Okay, we just Wayne Caesar is saying Charles Ramson indeed needs to come clean. Mark, shame on you, Ramson Jr. Don't forget, tomorrow's Saturday. Wayne Caesar is going to be on with his show, and his show is, let me see if you guys know what his show is. Hi, Mr. Neville Baggett, how are you doing? Tonight is a high night. Neville Baggett is saying here, I don't think he will come to the U.S. in a hurry. I don't think a lot of them will come to the U.S. in a hurry, including some very senior police officers, including some very senior Kanu officers as well. Like I've said, a couple of them missed the sanction list in Kanu. Oops, I'm sorry, but you never know. Maybe next time around. Okay, you guys got the show. Over to you. We're going to disqualify Gavin Caesar. He's the first one or second one that says over to you. And y'all know why Gavin Caesar is disqualified from that question. Good night to Gavin. Gavin is the brother of Wayne Caesar. And Gavin pushes his opposition leader. He pushes his party, which is good. And he does it constructively. Focus your energy in those constructive areas, and kudos to you. I like your energy, Gavin. Don't be distracted, though. You know, if you like somebody, you promote them, and you promote them in a very positive way. So good job. Coco Brown is saying a vote for the Mohammed is a vote for the PPP. Duh. Wake up, guys. Wake up. We haven't seen Dennis Atwell in a while. Dennis, how are you doing, my brother? Dennis is very passionate. Have you guys noticed when Dennis speaks? Dennis is a passionate guy. Dennis is saying USA must revoke all top police officers of the Guyana Police Force. Justice for Adriana. Yeah, all right. Well, the Americans, you know how they operate. They squeeze piece here, they squeeze another piece there, and then when they squeeze another piece here, they try to squeeze to see who is going to be the weakest of these four, the weakest of these four who willing to talk, willing to cooperate and become state witness. Who knows? You never know. The weakest of the four. Just respect the saying, right? Just respect the saying. Guyana's got to be cleaned up. It's a beautiful country. And every day I speak with Guyanese who are in the US or wherever they are, they want to go back to Guyana. They want a better Guyana. But you cannot have a better Guyana. You cannot have a better Guyana under a corrupt system, under a corrupt government, under corrupt individuals. People, whether they've been sanctioned, whether they're known for corruption, allegations of murders upon murders and drug trafficking and gold smuggling and all these sort of things. You've got to be careful, guys. Guyana's got to heal. Guyana's got to heal, and don't run up with the hype. Y'all didn't see the hype yet. For those legitimate folks in the opposition, legitimate opposition politicians, right, Miss Booker? It's about saving the country, and you've got to save Guyana. Got to save Guyana. Got to. You're not saving anybody and their Lamborghini, because they never care about you. Then the question is, what makes you think they're going to care about you now? They never cared about you then. You think they're going to care about you now? Yeah, I'll try that. So I saw a video somewhere on Glenn Lal's favorite TikTok. Good night to Glenn Lal, if he's watching. And so someone connected, I think it's the owner's son or some, walking around and attempting now to play the victim. It is so insensitive, right, Basil Bradshaw, watching us from your balcony, Can you just imagine how insensitive people can be, cold-hearted? Making a video, walking around the burned hotel and playing the victim. At this time, this little girl hasn't even been buried. Playing the victim game, and look at what happened. All manner of things now. And that is what happens with some people. They love to play the victim game. Do not believe the hype. We see it all the time. We see it with the Mohammed. They're playing the victims now. They're the victims, everything. But when life was sweet and they're enjoying themselves, enjoying 83,000 acres of land, enjoying billions of dollars of contracts, you think they cared about you guys? You think they cared about y'all? Again, people play victims. I notice some of y'all are very quiet, which is good because y'all eyes are opening, and I'm glad that is what we do here on 107.1 FM. We open your eyes to reality. Do not fall for the hype. Do not be used by people who don't like you. Because if they like you, you're not going to just pretend as though overnight they're in love with you and want to do good for you. They never cared. So back to this guy who's playing the victim role now. What's the purpose? And the question that those reporters in Guyana, those legitimate reporters in Guyana have to ask is how much money Irfan Ali has either given or promised these guys to rebuild their hotel. Nobody cares. Well, from the government side, they don't care about this family. They care more about these people who own the hotel, who should have done the right thing from the minute this little girl was missing. They never did that. And so now they want to play the victim game, right? That's what they want to play, the victim game. Watch out for those individuals who are playing the victim games. Come on, Chief. Watch out for those guys. Now, people are still hollering out, and rightly so, for justice, calling out for justice for Adriana Young. Irfan Ali and those guys, they don't care. But these three guys, I'm wondering, why are these three guys still so quiet on the issue? Why? You know, I'm tempted to go in front of the office of the chief medical officer or examiner of the state of Delaware, ride a bicycle sometime next week. If you guys want to ride along, ride a bicycle, and let's go in front of his office. Or if there's anyone there out in Delaware, even if you have a placard, even if it's one, or even if there's 2 or 3 persons out in Delaware, please inbox me, make contact with me. Or if you don't get me, make contact with Wayne Caesar. Or if you don't get Wayne, make contact with our secretary, Gavin Caesar. Make contact if you're in Delaware, and let's plan something, a peaceful protest in front of this guy's office. We've got to do it. We've got to pull him out. He's got to respond. Because remember, we were told that he went there to represent the interest of the family. So if he was there, from what we are told, if he was there to represent the interest of the family, he needs to come forward and speak on behalf of the family as to what really transpired. We already know that the family didn't get proper legal advice from the beginning, and there was a bunch of what we would see or interpret as zigzag stuff that went on. But I'll speak about the zigzag stuff, in my opinion, that transpired when the time is right. The zigzag. But anyways, we're glad that the other lawyer, that is Dexter Todd, got on board and took it somewhere. Thank you, Dexter Todd. But it needs to go farther than that. And so anyone who knows someone who lives in Delaware and they're brave enough to get a placard to go in front of the chief medical examiner of the state of Delaware, Dr. Gary L. Collins' office, and protest. Now, you're not protesting because we don't like him. The protest is basically asking peacefully, can you explain, can you come out and talk about what transpired at the autopsy of Adriana Young's body? What transpired? What did you observe? Because, guys, it is only fair that the family of Adriana Young, her parents, get to know the truth. They have to know the truth. They have to know the truth. These people are still the parents and the family members of Adriana Young. They want to know the truth. And I give this family kudos, because some people would have buckled already. And I've dealt with dozens of people who wanted justice in Guyana, and they just buckle out. They collect a little something, a little settlement, and they're done with it. or they get some rich people, whether they're rich through smuggling gold, they go and they pay off policemen and do this and all manner, and people just drop cases because they're afraid. I have to say kudos to this family, man. Kudos to the father. I notice some people like to throw insults at him, but who feels it knows. This guy is a brave guy. I think his name is Sobrian. And the mother, Anicia. They are brave people. Could you imagine what the two little kids, the children, Adriana Young's brother and sister, could you imagine what they are going through at this point in time? The government of Guyana doesn't care about these people. If they can harass these people night and day in Guyana, they will do that. These folks are not safe. They will do that. And as they prepare to head back to Guyana sometime soon, continue to keep them in your prayers. Some people say, it's money, and you think it's easy? They think, those who are talking about money, do you think it's easy to lose a child, to lose a loved one? Do you think it's easy? Only people with strength and class, people with strength and class, people with strength and class, people with strength and class will refuse any sort of monetary offer to shut them up. And this family, according to information, this family did just that. What they want is justice. And money is not justice. Forget about what James Bond said, that money is money is not justice. Money can never be justice. What the mother, the father, the aunts, and others, what they need is to see the perpetrators brought to justice. That is what you call justice. But did the government, the so-called government of Guyana, did they offer compensation to this family? Now, that's a question for Irfan Ali to answer. Did Irfan Ali or any senior member of the corrupt government of Guyana offered the family members of Adriana Young compensation? I'm sure Irfan Ali wouldn't want to answer that question, because maybe a lot of you will be surprised that even if compensation was offered, guess what? It was refused. Oh, who am I? I'm just a talk show host, right? It was refused. And therefore, if compensation was offered by the government of Guyana, and this beautiful little family, young family, refused the compensation, because all they want is justice for this little beautiful little girl. Her graduation photograph taken before she was murdered, not drunk, and even if she died by drowning. I know some doctors there say drowning, right? According to the autopsy report, she deserves justice. That is what she deserves. She didn't deserve the death. She deserves justice, and justice she must get. And those pakus out there who saying that the family want money, and the family doesn't want money. The family were comfortable, even under the circumstances. The father, a minibus conductor. Y'all think it's easy filling up a bus and letting have somebody here and giving out $20 change and $100 change and back on this. Minibus conductor work is hard work. And that is what her dad did to support them. Of course, with the help of her mother and maybe other family members. But being a minibus conductor isn't easy. Y'all think some of y'all passenger easy? Some of y'all in easy, you know, I've been in minibuses before and thing. And I've observed some of the minibus conductors. Now, a couple of them would be a little rude and thing, and a couple of them want to squeeze you in. It's a hustle to survive. It's a clean hustle. And I want to take this time out to, as we say in Guyana, to big up all those conductors. All those conductors. Big them up. Her dad is a conductor. Do you guys know a lawyer by the name of Ronald Daniels? I think he works out of the law firm of Nigel Hughes. Ronald Daniels. How many of you guys know? How many of you guys know that Ronald Daniels was a minibus conductor / tout? A minibus conductor. You never know where you're going to be tomorrow. It's clean money. It's honest money. But if the corrupt government, if they weren't focusing on giving out people an easy pass for Lamborghini and Ferrari and those, and mind you, the Mohammeds are not the only ones that are getting them sort of free pass with invoices and big fancy vehicles. Other people who are close to the PPP regime, they do not even pay duties on vehicles and these sort of things. They don't pay their fair share. People who are very close to the PPP regime, friends and concubines and so forth, all those fancy vehicles going into Guyana, not just the Mohammeds, check the others them if they pay their fair share of taxes. So this is not just a target of the Mohammeds and whatever or whoever. It is in general, that is how the PPP operates. But if they were reducing the taxes for, let us say, an ordinary, let's say Palawala Pride wants to take a minibus into Guyana or Gulligad, they got to pay a heck of a lot of taxes. That is because they're not connected, right, Michael Reed? They're not connected to Irfan or Jack Dare or anyone, those other corrupt individuals. So these minibus, back to the tout, and the point I'm making with the touts and the minibus conductors and the drivers, they have to double up on their trips. That's why some of them got to squeeze up next to y'all. And I know some of y'all, especially when I was in Guyana and I have on a nice shirt and tie, me want nobody squeeze up on me. And I realize I'm in a minibus. You got to get squeezed up. But me want them kind of squeeze up like teacher come next to you and say, good on, nada. But you got to get squeezed up. And the bus sweat up. And then they put on the thing, music and thing. It's because it's a business. They got to make about 10 trips in order to make a profit. But if the corrupt government lower the duties on those buses, then there will be less trips, less headaches, and possibly less accidents on the road. And so I say all of this to say that you need a government that is caring, a government that has a vision for Guyana, a vision to save Guyana, a vision to save our young people. Our young people must be safe in that country. Right now, little boys and girls are not safe in Guyana. There's like no future for them. And you cannot just flash fancy cars and little crumbs and little money that they got through taxpayer, people throwing back that at you and feel that is going to develop a country. Those things cannot develop a country. You need people who can articulate a vision for a country, a vision that makes sense. You don't need individuals who walk around and say, all right, I'm going to do this. All right, don't worry. You need to hear people's vision, and they must be able to articulate it properly, so that when you make a decision to vote in this upcoming elections, that you know that you're voting for somebody that cares about Guyana, someone that has a track record, or individuals who have a track record on fighting against corruption, you not facilitating corruption, not being part of a corrupt cabal, whether a murder plot, plots and drug dealings and all. That is not going to move Guyana forward. Do not believe the hype. Some of you want change. I know that. Some of you have been saying, it doesn't matter who, man, as long as you get rid of the PPP. Yes, getting rid of the PPP is the agenda, but it matters who replaces the PPP. Do not be fooled, guys. On this Friday evening, I didn't even realize I've gone over time. But as I was talking about this little girl, coming up in September, the school that she graduated from, they should be something in honor of this little girl. I don't know what she wanted to become, but the government of Guyana deprived her of that. Because if they weren't condoning these sort of things, possibly she would have been alive today. Possibly. Because when people have access to money, regardless of how they get the money, they feel that they're powerful and they can buy their way out of justice. We have seen it on numerous occasions. And so this little girl deserves to be remembered for a long time to come. And if I have my way, there will be scholarships in her name. And the next government of Guyana, headed by decent people, not corrupt individuals, decent people, there should be a scholarship in her name. Whether she wanted to be a lawyer or whatever, scholarships in Adriana Young's name. She deserves it. And we must never forget Adriana Young. An injustice was meted out to her and her entire family. And that is why we continue to call for justice. But the government of Guyana has deprived her and her family. You think they care? They showed up, they hug up, they pretend as though they cared, crocodile tears. They don't care. Nobody's counseling the family. I hope they're getting their rest while they're in the US and not hopping here, there. Let the family get their rest. Let them get their rest. And those of you who continue to pray for this family or support them in whatever way, as you support them directly, mind you, pray for them directly. Give them a little small change or whatever it is. They don't ask, they don't go out and they don't beg, they don't ask. But if you do, give it directly to them. There are a few more days. I don't know when they're leaving, but if you see them somewhere there, wherever they're staying, and you can get something, give it to them directly. Give it in their hands and say, God bless you. Or if you don't have that, it's not about money. Say a prayer, because can you imagine what this mother is going through right now? But nobody cares from the government side. We saw the thousands of people who went out in Brooklyn. You guys cared. And that is what's keeping this family going, giving them the strength. When the father, Sir Brian, goes on TikTok, anything up and thing, he's mourning. He's in pain. He's finding something to distract him from that pain. Again, you know what it is to lose a little child? Those of you who have lost a little child, you know that even losing that child, you never lost the memory. I am speaking from experience. You remember that every single day, you remember it. Every single day, you remember it. So I know what it's like to lose a little child. I know. But you do not lose that memory. And anyone who insults this family because they're seeking justice is a heartless, or they are heartless creatures. Wayne Caesar is going to be on tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. I'll be back on Monday, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. Thank you all so much. Continue to have a blessed night and continue on your positive mission, whatever you're doing with your life, and continue to pray for Guyana. I'm out of here. God bless you. See you soon. Yep. Remember Adriana Young. We've got to save Guyana. Got to save Guyana. God bless you.
I can't do it, fucking dog. Watch. Just because we stand up out there. Just because we stand up out there.
Persons can do so peacefully, and they can, but blocking the road for hours is something that affects
Mr. Ali, I saw you blocking road. Yes, Mr. Ali.
I'm just telling
Mr.
you.
Ali, there are videos with you protesting, you being a scrape and a tug. Mr. Ali, this is not, listen, sometimes we gotta put our position aside.
No, this is not position.
We gotta put our position aside and place ourselves into people's shoes. You gotta understand, even those persons who were traveling, yes, they were inconvenienced, but they understood the reason. They understood the reason. We understand the inconvenience.
That's what the police do. The police guilty. The police guilty. The police guilty. The police guilty. Are you guilty, man? Are you doing this, man? Are you doing this? Are you doing it? Are you fucking doing it, man? Are you doing this? Are you doing it? Are you doing it? We checked this pool this morning. What? We checked this pool this morning. This young lady was not in this pool. This girl was not in this pool. This girl was not in this pool. She was not in here. We checked in this pool. The girl was not in there this morning when we come here. We went in this place. This girl was not in here. The girl was not in there, boy.
That is saying 7 feet 6 inches, 5 feet 5 inches. If you look at it, right? They're saying 5'5". They're saying 7'6". They're saying 8 feet. So for 8 feet is reasonable depth for a pool. So you would have to go in and check in the pool, right? The young lady is not in the pool. So it could be ruled out that she drowned.
That's what the police do. The police guilty. The police guilty. The police guilty. The police guilty. Are you guilty, man? Are you doing this, man? Are you doing this? Are you doing it? Are you fucking doing it, man? Are you doing this? Are you doing it? Are you doing it? Are you doing it? Are you doing it? Are you doing it?
Yeah, my name is Jasmine Caldata, Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cop, and what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by 1 vote, they're losing it by data.